Hello. This time we were repairing water damage in a private house. Interestingly, it belongs to one of the most famous Austrian skiers. Our client owns an almost new house, only 3 years old. He contacted us for help. He informed us that water is leaking from the terrace into the pool's technical rooms. That's why we started our work by applying mineral waterproofing inside these rooms. Unfortunately, our protection showed that the problem is more serious than we initially assumed. After insulating some areas, water began to flow into the technical rooms through others, and this is generally a typical phenomenon, indicating that insulation should be applied to additional surfaces. Water will always find an outlet where it does not encounter a sufficient barrier to stop it, but for further leaks made us think. We had to precisely determine where the remaining poorly insulated areas were. Finally, we checked the tiles that were laid by the pool contractor around its basin. After removing them, it turned out they were laid incorrectly. The mortar underneath them was not spread evenly across the entire surface but applied in spots. It is obvious that the lack of a monolithic layer of adhesive under the tiles will sooner or later cause water to appear in it. In the case of our client's terrace, the use of drainage bedding across the entire surface under the tiles also accelerated the water inflow. As a result of the errors we identified, the tiles began to detach and a so-called lipping effect occurred. Particularly in the corners of the tiles, there were noticeable differences in height between them, even several millimeters. The direct cause of this phenomenon was, of course, the freezing of water underneath during the winter period. Therefore, we informed the client that all these tiles needed to be completely dismantled, and then the surface underneath them, around the entire pool basin, should be insulated with NCT mineral mortars. Only in this way could they be properly laid anew. After removing the remaining tiles and exposing the underlying layer, it turned out that the problem was even more serious. Deep cracks appeared on the sides of the pool, through which water flowed down to the technical rooms. Additionally, very many drains and drainage grates did not fulfill their role because they were simply unfinished and did not actually form a water drainage system. Some of them were even covered with tile adhesive and hidden underneath. In such a case, it was obvious that water was entering the technical rooms through the easiest paths, namely through the joints in the drainage bedding, but also the spaces under the tiles and the deep cracks in the pool basin structure. All these defects could eventually lead to the complete destruction of the concrete from which this pool was made. During the dismantling work, we discovered another problem, namely that due to the destructive action of water, the waterproofing made of bituminous mass and the thermal insulation from polystyrene sheets had also detached from the pool basin. Therefore, there was no other option but to thoroughly renovate the entire structure. Seeing this, our client, aware of the scale of the problem as it really looked quite bad, decided to proceed according to our guidelines. So we had to waterproof and thermally insulate all the pool surfaces again and practically build the drainage system from scratch with drain pipes and grates for water removal. The tasks assigned to us also included dismantling the shower and the rails along with the movable pool cover, which allows swimming in it on cold days. And all this resulted in quite a long duration, as much as 2 months of work. We had to excavate the entire pool basin around and install new protections with NCT crystal and NCT CN mortars to finally provide this structure with complete external waterproofing. After both layers dried, we covered them with XPS styrofoam to ensure even and strong adhesion of the new external waterproofing to the pool. Of course, we also covered it with an additional mesh. We compacted the ground around it thoroughly with a heavy compactor. As for horizontal insulation, we also insulated the entire floor. We did this to be sure, securing all the concrete twice, which the contractor used to build the structure around the pool. They sealed all corners, the connections between the floor and the basin, and the walls of the house in contact with the pool structure. Additionally, in all corners, we applied flexible bands and applied flexible insulation NCT Flex. And after the new protections dried, the construction supervisor on behalf of our client rated them as excellent. We could then move on to the final stage of the renovation, which was relaying the stone tiles that were originally on the surfaces around the pool basin. Some of them were salvaged during dismantling, but some needed to be ordered. After restoring the decorative floor surface, we reinstalled the movable pool cover and shower. In summary, firstly, since the completion of our work, the technical rooms located under the pool are finally dry. Secondly, the pool basin along with the adjoining floor is perfectly insulated horizontally and vertically against water acting from the side and from underneath. Of course, Thirdly, after removing the old grout, we applied a new, flexible and waterproof one, which will ensure the surface under the tiles remains completely dry. The renovation cost our client about 50,000 euros, but without our intervention, the pool would certainly have fallen into ruin in a short time, and building a similar one would have cost much more, also without a guarantee that water wouldn't start damaging it. Besides, the client received a 10-year warranty from us on the effectiveness of the repairs, and in practice, we are sure that these repairs will have a more long-term effect in the form of a watertight basin.
If you enjoyed the video, leave a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more construction tips. Thank you for watching and see you in the next project.